Harvard received over 50,000 college applications last year, and they probably accepted around 2,000 of those. If we run the math real quick, they sent out acceptance letters to about 4% of the people that applied. One of the things that I like to keep in mind whenever I think of college admissions is that number right there, 4%, right? If 4% of people are getting in, 96% of people are getting either waitlisted or rejected. If you're constantly making the same decisions that 96% of people are making, when will you miraculously end up as part of the 4%? As nice as it is to hear those miracle stories, right? Like you probably have that one homie of a homie who just showed up to the SAT without studying and got a 1600. But that's not you, bro. I'm telling you right now, that's not gonna happen to you. And on the low key, you don't even want that to be you. Like, think about that. If you're like a celebrity's kid and you just like randomly get into USC, for instance, right? We all know which stories I'm talking about. Those poor kids have to like constantly hear those reminders from other people that you only got in because of your parents, not because of your own work or your own merits. You don't want to have to be in that situation, right? Just accept it for what it is, take some accountability, and keep it pushing. Creative ways to improve your college application. I'm not here to hop on camera and give you 3 random clubs to start, okay? You already know the basics. I'm not gonna tell you to go do some volunteering or to start this little nonprofit, okay? I wanna give you a slightly different perspective to view your college application so that you watch this 8-minute, 10-minute long video and you actually gain something from it. You got a new idea from it. That's the whole point. If you wanna actually improve your college application, fundamentally, right? Not just adding on like one extra club that'll go at the very end of your common application, but legitimately take the things that you're doing to the next level, you need to designate time to think, right? To brainstorm actual ways to do that. The best time by far to do this kind of brainstorming is during the summer. Innovate over your summer breaks. This is the time when you actually start to brainstorm new initiatives you can take part of, new clubs that you can get involved in, when you can actually do a little bit of big like picture planning for your college application to see what you have time for and what makes sense to integrate. When you also don't have the added pressure of school, competitions, ongoing clubs, and your mind is just free to think, you can start to really get a sense of where your interests lie and what you actually want to do. Because at the end of the day, like it's always nice to have a fantastic college application, but the goal here is not that you're starting activities purely for your college apps. The goal is that you're starting activities that you like and that you're working on them in a direction that benefits your college applications, right? You're taking like an initiative that you're using and you're at least taking the time to throw it at a couple competitions, get a couple awards for the work that you're doing, but also you're learning all those vital skills that will help you in whatever career you decide to go down. I think winter break and spring break are also really great checkpoints during the school year, right? You can do a little bit of reflecting on how things are going, how you're feeling, take a little break, obviously, right? Do that with summer break as well. But then you can also lock in a bit more. Okay, in this next, semester, trimester of school, what else do I want to get done? What else do I want to do? How do I lock in? The other reason that you do your planning and you get started on these things during the summer is that sometimes with something like volunteering, for instance, if you want to get involved, one of the hardest parts is just getting that opportunity, getting started. If you begin it during the summer when you have the free time, once the school year kicks in, you can just coast, right? You have some kind of routine, maybe you're volunteering once or twice a week or at a particular location. You just keep that opportunity going, but there's no extra work that's needed. You don't have to take time out of your day to do that like initiative work of just getting started. It's all there. Just chill, coast, get it done. It's a lot easier to keep up the grind when you're just in the routine of doing things. There's nothing more, nothing less. Now let's start to get into some of the actual practicals, okay? Here's the first idea that I want to throw at you. It's publishing a paper, okay? The thing about it, right, when we're thinking about publishing a paper, is it's not about the actual like achievement of publishing the paper. That's not the focus of what I'm trying to say. It's the journey that you go through to get that paper published. Whether that means getting some kind of an internship, starting some kind of research, reaching out to local universities to find opportunities, or doing something independently on your own. All of these things are ways that you can go about conducting research, getting involved in a lab, maybe doing something related to like science or CS, and then eventually getting your name on some kind of published paper. That whole journey towards getting a paper and all the different things that you're gonna do to get there are going to be staples for your college application. Genuine standout things that not a lot of high school students have. Plenty of kids get access to like random internship opportunities, but your way of proving that the internship you did was actually meaningful, right? That you genuinely contributed and you learned from it is to have a paper get published from that. When you're reaching out to professors or you're looking through opportunities, you can be very open about your interest in wanting to get something published. See how this particular like university professor or your mentor responds to something like that. See whether they'd be willing to guide you if you were to take the research that you're doing and then just build on it like further independently on your own. These are all just things to keep in mind. If you have the goal of getting a paper published and you're open about that with your mentor, they might even allow you to like extend an internship you were doing over the summer into the school year, and now you're going into lab once or twice a week, you're keeping your research going, and then boom, maybe a couple months from now, you actually get a draft of your paper going and you get that submitted. That's fantastic. Now, if you're doing research at a level where you can potentially get a paper published, you also have the ability to start applying to science fairs, to online competitions, other ways of just recycling research work in a project that you've already done, but to get more out of it for, college application purposes, for scholarship purposes, for in general, just getting cash prizes and money, financial security. There's so many different benefits to doing that. A question that I also get pretty often is whether it matters where your paper was published. Of course, if you end up publishing in like a very, very famous, well-known journal, that's fantastic. But as a high schooler, that expectation is not necessarily there. If you're still learning research, you're still getting into it, what's the next best thing to getting published in something like Nature or like IEEE is getting published in like a well-known established high school journal. And if it's a well-known high school journal, like for example, take JEI, which is run by Harvard graduate students, that is by no means like a light process. They accept papers, they also deny papers. Sometimes it can take like months to years to get published with them. It's legit. Like when it's all said and done, that itself is very impressive to colleges. The second thing that's probably worth it to start doing is to take a look at all of the activities that you're doing in your everyday life, like your interests, your extracurriculars, your hobbies, and see which of the things that you're doing as hobbies that are completely unrelated to college applications could potentially be turned into something that's a legitimate activity, that has value, that's providing value to other people, that is meaningful. If you really like playing in basketball tournaments, and that's like a hobby of yours, what if you were to take an activity like that and turn it into an extracurricular? Let's say you get all your homies together, and then you get your homies together, and you end up running a little basketball tournament, but you ask people to give like a couple dollars to join. You have a little prize pool, and then you take all of the extra money that's earned from this little competition, this little tournament, and you donate it to charity. You're doing something you enjoy. It's not actually that much work. If you really want to, you can even play in one or two of these tournaments, right? Even though your main job here is to like kind of manage and organize it. But the point is, you're creating some kind of value, and all of a sudden now you have this brand new, original, unique to you volunteering experience that you can put somewhere on your college application. Now, I've seen people give examples online about making things like little cardboard toys and like donating them to charities and things like that. Like, I'm not saying that little activities like these are gonna revolutionize your college application. No one's promising that. But the thing is, it's a start to a way of thinking. If you're not used to or able to generate these original ideas at a lower level, if you eventually want to do something that actually has more meaning, that's a high level, meaningful initiative that's impacting like a legitimate cause or problem, you're not going to just be able to jump there. It's all about stepping stones, right? Building up that critical thinking process so that eventually when you want to do something that is high impact, you have the skills to do it. Sure, there might be some activities out there that probably don't lend themselves towards being extracurriculars, but a lot of activities, if you really put your mind to it, you could come up with some kind of meaningful way to take that like skill or hobby you've just been doing for fun and make something a little bit more meaningful out of it. Especially if you're running low on time with your college app, like let's say you're a rising junior, pushing senior year, you only got a couple months, maybe something like this is what you need to add that extra 8th, 9th, or 10th activity on your Common App. The third thing that you gotta lock in on: go crazy with your college essay. And I'm not just talking about eventually when you apply to colleges and you write that college essay. That one is very important. But even earlier on in high school, if you're applying to internships, if you're applying to like summer research programs, competitions, where they ask you to write little personal statements or essays about you, actually try. Take the time to research how other students write essays, learn how to write essays, learn how to be a better writer, have better English in general, and then produce good quality works. In the long run, these things matter. You can reuse so many different essays for different competitions as long as they're good essays that will continue to help you. If you keep getting lazy in this department, when you eventually need to write essays that do matter for not just like college apps, but even when you want like a job one day and you need to write a cover letter, if you don't have those skills, it just gets uncomfortable. Now, circling back to your college essay, because that's really the cherry on top when it comes to college apps. Take the time to read good college essays online. There are literally thousands of accepted students to Ivy League schools who have just posted their personal statements completely for free online. Some of them even like just like I do on my own YouTube channel, give like a little analysis of what they wrote. Watch those videos. Those are helpful. Sometimes you might feel like the essays are unrealistic or they're corny. If you feel that way, that's perfectly okay. Everyone feels that way. Even I feel that way about reading certain types of essays. Don't read those. Go read the ones that you actually do like, right? The ones that you resonate with. See if you can, there's a certain style that you really like and you can mimic that, you can practice that. That's how you become a better writer. That's how you actually get inspiration. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Pratik. Peace.